So in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about the Kral Puncher Jumbo in 25. I particularly love this gun when it came out about a year ago, and I saw this stock. I love the thumb hole stocks. I love the bottle gun. I love the shroud. It looks great. This gun is really fantastic. So what I'm going to do today is briefly talk about the gun, give you a little introduction, shoot it at the range, which I did already, and then I will show you a shot count of what I'm getting, because I have modified this gun. I've opened up the valve port, the transfer port, the barrel port to get the power up to about 50 foot-pounds, a little bit more than 50 foot-pounds of energy. It shoots, it loves the Jumbo King Heavy Mark IIs, even the Mark Is. It loves those 34 grain pellets. I shot it out to 100 yards, and this gun was phenomenal. It shoots the 25 Kings at 950. It's shooting the King Heavy 34 grain about 820. It is shooting the GTO Supersonic. I shot it in this test count. I'll show you. At that point in time, I didn't realize the bottle was almost empty, so it was only shooting at about 1050. But this gun is capable of shooting those GTOs. These are 16.54 grain pellets at about supersonic, 1130, 1150. So this gun has a lot of power, great accuracy. It is very light. It is very nice to hold. At this price point of $599, this is a steal. I know you get what you pay for, but in this particular situation, you get a little bit more than you pay for. No, it's not comparable to the Crown, the Day States. It may look like one. People at the range have said to me, "Oh, you finally got a Crown." I said, "No, take a closer look. It's a Kral." So someone has mistaken it for one of those very, very high-end, expensive guns. This gun, let me just be clear, it is not one of those. So I'm not comparing it to the FX Crown or the Impact or the Day States or the Raw or any of those high-end guns, but this is an excellent gun at this price point. So without further ado, let me take you to the range. When the Kral Puncher Jumbo came out about a year ago and I saw this particular design, I knew this was going to be a real game changer for this price point. I have to say, at this price point, at I believe it's $599, $600. This gun feels great. You know, how does it compare to something like an FX, the Crown, the Day State? Yeah, of course, it's not the same caliber of gun, but this is quite good at this price point, and I was really excited to try to get this in my hands, again, 11 months ago, but it only became available to the masses, I would say, probably like in the last 3 or 4 months. So anyway, I got my hands on one of these. I did 2 previous tunes to this gun, and I'm getting about 45 shots per fill with an extreme spread of around 34. And you'll see this later on where I already did a test of the number of shots and the power. So again, what makes this gun really attractive is the fact that it is so easy to work on. It's very easy to put together. Very easy to take apart. The bottle comes out. The valve and the bottle are all one piece. There's 2 grub screws for that. The barrel comes out very easily, 2 grub screws for that. It really is very easy to work on and very easy to mod. I almost equate this to being something like the Crossman's. And you know what? If someone can figure out how to put a regulator on this drop block, you know, because there is a drop block here, so the valve goes down, drops down into the bottle. There is space for that, and maybe at some point somebody will, but I won't speculate on that. I'm here to talk about this gun, the way it came stock, as far as its shooting ability. Yeah, the power was a little light, but I have to say that it really kept the extreme spread, even though it was only shooting a JSB 25.4 at about 825. The extreme spread was somewhere like 18 to 20. So what I did was, and I knew the extreme spread was going to increase when you start to increase the power. I got this up to that 950 with the 25.4s, and the extreme spread did move up to about 34, but I'm still very, very happy. Again, I'm not a hunter, and some people will say, well, why do you need that kind of power? Because we shoot in these windy conditions, and you really do need to be able to buck the wind. I find it very hard with a 22 this is a 25, so with a 22 caliber pellet gun and shooting a 14 grain to get out to 100 yards, I mean, your pellet's going to be blowing all over the place. So I find, and that's what a traditional pellet with what they call a ballistic coefficient of around, I think it's 0.02 or 0.025. So what happens is what makes a pellet stable in flight also slows it down when it goes down range. So when a pellet leaves your gun doing 900 feet per second, your traditional Diablo pellet with the skirt, by the time it gets 100 feet, 100 yards down range, it's lost a lot of its velocity and energy. So what I'm going to do today too is not only shoot pellets out of this gun, but I bought some Nielsen 25 caliber, I believe they're 34 grain. They're the lightest 25 caliber that Nielsen makes that I know of. And I'm going to try to shoot that out of this gun today to see what it does out at 100 yards. But it with a ballistic coefficient, I believe, of 0.085 or close to 0.09, it's really going to retain a lot of its velocity and a lot of its energy downrange. Also, the shape of these slugs, they call them bullets, slugs. They're not that Diablo shape, you know, with the skirt and a bulbous head. No, these are pointy like a bullet. They do retain, again, speed, velocity, downrange, and they buck the wind a lot better. And I'm hoping it'll shoot well out of this gun. So anyway, enough about that. I wanted to tell you some features about the gun, why this gun is so attractive. To me, at least, is this side lever. I love the idea of a side lever. I mean, it cocks really, really smooth. It is a little bit heavy. It is not a crown, the FX crown, but damn, it is really, really, really nice. Again, you can decock it, really nice. When it's in your hand, it feels very, 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 very nice. Again, if you blindfold me and put, you know, various guns that I've never held before, like a day state. I've held I've held a few day states. I've shot a few day states. I've shot a few FX Crown, the FX Crown, the FX Impact. I don't own any of them. Those are high-end guns that are beyond me. That's why I went for this at this price point, thinking, all right, it looks great, it feels good. The ergonomics are really, really beautiful. It does have some adjustability with the power. There's a power adjuster. Now, the power adjuster does not make for more efficient air. The power adjuster just limits how much air gets to the barrel. It doesn't limit what comes out of the bottle. So that's a little bit disappointing, but there is a hammer screw in the back that can be adjusted so that again, I've got this shooting 950. If I want, I could back out the hammer spring. That will actually decrease the amount of air you use per shot versus trying to adjust the power adjuster, which decreases the air, but not the air coming out of the bottle, the air flowing into the barrel. But it's still a very good option to be able to adjust the power if you want to shoot lighter pellets. The gun is shrouded. This is a, you know, it's shrouded back here. The barrel goes right to the very end. I believe this is a 21-inch barrel, if I'm not mistaken. But this shroud is really cosmetic. It does not do anything in the way of quieting this gun. So this gun is pretty loud. I have a sound meter and we'll test that. Unfortunately, or fortunately, it is threaded on the end here with a 1/2-inch UNF. And I'm going to be putting on my moderator, my sound moderator. This is an airgun moderator, and it is very, very good. It works very, very well, and it quiets this gun down very much. Again, to me, I'm all about quiet. Air guns should be quiet, especially, I don't know, if you're a hunter, you're in the Pine Barrens, you're in the woods, wherever you are. Yeah, you want something quiet because, you know, you're shooting, if you're pesting and you're shooting at birds, you don't want to take one shot and scare everybody away. You don't even want them to know where it's coming from. So that's, for me, I just don't like the noise. you know, kind of disturbs me. It's so quiet out here this morning. This range is usually blustering with gunfire, but this morning it's quite cold. It's below freezing. And again, I just wanted to get out here, talk to you about this gun briefly, and I'm going to shoot it today, 50, 75, 100 yards. I'm going to try 6 different pellets, actually 5 different pellets, and then the Nielsen slugs. These are swagged slugs, so they're not molded. They're kind of pressed, and apparently, or from what I understand, swagged slugs are more accurate in airgun barrels than being molded, because the molding sometimes doesn't fill the cavity properly, where swagging does. And I understand Nielsen, from reading on his website, these Nielsen slugs, they use a hydraulic press to press these slugs, and they look amazing. And I'll show you what those look like a little later. But anyway, at this point, I think I just want to shoot down range. It is cold out here, and I want you guys to see what this gun can do. I don't know yet. This is actually the second time I'm shooting. The first time I shot, it was in 18 mile per hour wind, and I produced some 2.5-inch, 3-inch groups at 100 yards. I was not pleased with that, but I know that the wind was blowing them around, and also the gun wasn't tuned as powerful. So I'm hoping with a little more power and a lot less wind, we're going to get some nice groups. So without further ado, let's see what we can do downrange. Wow, that was a 5-shot group. Wow. Okay. Shit. Oh. Okay, that was a 5-shot group. Okay, not too bad. Well, not bad. Maybe we got to go a little bit left. Okay, now what we have here is the 25s. That's a 1-inch. These are the 34 JSBs. That's a 1-inch. I believe these were the Barracudas, and these were the Polymags, and this was the GTOs. Now this was one group, and then this was a second. The GTOs actually did very well, and they were shooting supersonic. You could hear that crack. I'm not sure if you heard it on this camera as they were coming down, but that was it. Again, I could have slowed it down, but I just wanted to see what it would do supersonic. So anyway, I'm very, very pleased with the JSBs at 50 yards from this gun. It was really amazing. Okay. Wow. 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 Oh. Yeah, that was me. There we go. Very nice. Whew. Polymags are very, very nice. Wow. Wow. So, let me just tell you. So JSB 25s, I'm not sure what happened, but you can see there's 2 clusters. Here again, 2 clusters, but these are the 34s. Barracudas, sorry, Polymags, I believe were down here. No, these were the GTOs. These were the Polymags. I covered them back up, but they were very tight. This is the Nielsen. This is me making, pulling, getting anxious. They clustered. This is about 1.5 inches. That's 10 shots with 2 that I pulled. That's not the gun, or I even know this one I just pulled the trigger too quick. This one I kind of flinched a little. So look at this. 2 finger, I think that's about maybe 1.5, 2 inches tops. And I'm not a great shot. These Nielsen slugs, they're very good. So what I I don't know what happened there. Oh. Wow, very nice. Wow, okay. So the JSBs are really just that incredible. Okay. Okay, there we go. Wow. All right. So that was the Nielsen. So, JSB 25s, probably about 3.5 inches. The 34s, it just loves the 34s. There's no doubt about it. This is, it's my shooting. If I wasn't running back and forth 100 yards, settling down, if it wasn't so cold, there's so many ifs, but this could be better. And that's because of me, but the Jumbo loves the 34s. Here are the Nielsen. This was sighting in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a 1 inch at 100 yards. These flyers are definitely me. This, I don't know what to say. Here's the GTOs, they're all over the place. They're the Polymags, they're all over the place. This was the Barracudas, I believe. This was the Barracudas. They're all over the place. 25s, again, it could be me shooting. This tells me that the gun is pretty accurate. If the shooter, I guess if I can slow my heart rate down, relax a little bit, get more comfortable with the trigger, could probably tighten that up. But anyway, the only ones that really seemed to not like was the Barracudas at 100 yards. It liked them at 75 and 50. It seemed okay. The GTOs, they're kind of, I'm shooting them supersonic. I just want to hear the sonic boom. I want to hear breaking the speed of sound. So this is what happens. It's all over the place. If I slow it down, they might be more accurate. The Polymags, I'm a little bit surprised. But overall, it's really, this is 100 yards. When it's pretty far. There is no wind to complain about today. So you know what? I think overall it's pretty good. All right, so in this part of the video, I'm going to show you how to take apart this gun. It is very, very simple. Really, really easy. I equate this to being like a Crosman as far as modifications. This block here, the breech block, is very simple. You know what? Let me stop talking about it. Let's start doing it. All right, so again, take your stuff, put it on the side. Again, this gun does have gas in it. I recommend that you remove any gas in the gun before you start to modify it if you don't know what you're doing. But I'm not going to, because I kind of done this a bunch of times. I know that the valve is connected to the bottle, so it's safe. It's sort of like the Hat's Ungulation. It's safe to remove it all in one piece. But anyway, let's start by taking off the shroud. So this just simply unscrews, slides right off. There's the another half-inch UNF thread on the end of the barrel. It's the same one that's here. As you see, this will screw on there as well. It has a little O-ring. The O-ring, let me show you this. And this is why this shroud really does nothing. So let me come over here to this camera and show you a little better what's happening here on the end. Hopefully you can see that. This piece butts up right against this rubber O-ring right there. Not sure if you see. Let me move this out of the way. Okay, so the air does not have a way to go back down the tube. Okay, so it just gets trapped in this little piece right here. So this does nothing. This does absolutely nothing. This shroud is simply cosmetic. Again, because that O-ring right there, and where this cap meets that O-ring, it's just blocking the air. No air can go back. Right there. Anyway, so the next thing I like to do is let's take the stock off. Very easy. This is a 4mm. Yeah. Because this is European, or it's from Turkey, they use millimeters instead of inch. Very, very simple to get this stock off. One screw right here at the bottom, right next to the gauge. Counterclockwise, right? Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Ask me which way do you turn. There is the screw. Very simple. I like to use 2 fingers and thumbs right here, because I've tried to pull it from the breech, and it's really in there tight. So I find just using your 2 index fingers and your thumb and lift, and there it is. That simple. Okay? Breech, drop block, bottle, barrel. Stock, we can put this aside. So first thing we'll do, using a 3mm, there's 2 grub screws right at the top here. This is for the barrel. Let's remove those. This one here, this particular, the back grub screw for the barrel is the is the access to the transfer port. So this one you want to remove completely. Okay. Again, make sure you keep all your parts. When I work on guns, I like to make sure all my parts are somewhere safe. So I keep them in this little thing here. We have the screws. I know nothing's missing. All right, this barrel is now loose. You could back off. You don't have to, but you could back that off. This barrel, just gently twist and turn. All right, and it comes out. That's it. Now, again, the reason I'm doing all this is I'm going to show you how I modified this gun so that you can get it to do, or to get more power out of it. One of the things I did was to increase this barrel port here, okay? And what we did was, or what I did was, using a 3, there you go, using a 3/16 as a guide. Now, I didn't actually use a drill bit to open up this transfer port. What I did was, and I do this with most of the stuff, I used a Dremel. And very, very gently with the Dremel, this is a metal bit, it's a grinding bit. Okay, let's see, maybe you can see that. This little grinding bit from Dremel, I don't know what it's called. It's very good, you know, easy to use. This is almost, it's like using a pencil, okay? So when you're working on your barrel, now I don't do this offhand, I do this in a vise. But very, very gently, let the tool do all the work. You're going to, while it's spinning, at about a medium RPM, you don't have to go, I keep this at about 3 or 4. Again, let the tool do its work. Very, very gently when you go in there, round and around. Let the tool do its work. Try to keep the port very round, okay? And what happens is when you use the Dremel, and again, you want to be, you know, perpendicular to the barrel, right? You don't want to be on an angle. Just want to open it up, round and round and round. And what happens is you will get a little bit of burring on the very end. Let's see if you can see this right here on the opening of the port. There'll be a little burring, and you can use some sandpaper to just gently file that away. So again, this port is now open to 3/16. Now, the next part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to take this valve and bottle off. So here's your gauge. Here's your block, drop block. This is connected to this with 2 grub screws down here. And this is all one piece. I mean, it could be unscrewed here, the bottle from the block, but I didn't do that. So again, we're going to use our 3mm, 2 grub screws. Let me, before I do it, right here. I don't know if you see those. There's 1 and 2 right very close. Let's put that in there. Same thing. So 2 grub screws. Here we go. I'm going to show you. This separates from the breech. Ready? Here we go. See that? There it goes. So we've taken it apart. You have the bottle with the valve. The valve is screwed into the breech. Let me put this down. The valve here. Here is the valve port. Okay, this is the valve with 2 O-rings. Right here, valve port. And this whole block is connected to this block right here. Okay, let me see if you can see this from the side. So again, this valve is connected to this, and you can use 2 wrenches. I'll show you how that's done. So if you want to remove the valve from the block so that you can work on it, remember, inside the valve there is a valve stem which you do not want to touch, and then there's a spring. So a spring, valve stem, and then this all screws in. So if you want to remove, now remember, you must remove all the air from this bottle. There's a bleed valve right here. This is your bleed, okay? When you unscrew that, the air should bleed out. This is your manometer, this is your fill port. So what you do, once, I'm not going to actually do it because this is full of air. This has about 150 bar in here. I'm just going to show you how. Take your wrench, attach it to this part right here, okay? With your other wrench, there's a sort of a fitting that fits the wrench, okay, at the very end right here. Hopefully you see that, okay? And then all you're going to do is counter, remember, lefty-loosey, so you're going to, this way, you're going to push down and pull up in the reverse. And what's going to happen is the valve will unscrew. It's going to take a bit of force. It is in there pretty tight the first time, and it'll unscrew. But remember, please, remember to take the air out of the bottle before you do this. Again, it's dangerous if you don't. So you want to remove all that air. Can't emphasize that enough. So once you have unscrewed the valve, you can twist it off, and then you can work on this port here. This is the transfer port, the valve transfer port. Now, this is really, really important about the valve transfer port. Yes, I have also opened up the valve transfer port to a little more than 3/16. So as you see, if I put a 3/16 inch bit inside there, it fits. But if you'll notice, look at the bit. I don't know if you see that, but it's on an angle, okay? Let's see. See that angle that it's on? The reason it's on that angle, okay, is because what I did was I just didn't drill straight down into the valve port, right? Not straight perpendicular. I actually, with the Dremel, I scooped out. What you want to do is you want to have the air flow on a curve. You don't want it to have to go 90 degrees and then straight up, right? So you don't want to have the air go straight out and then turn and go up, because it's sort of restricting. So by having this on an angle like this, I scooped out some of the metal with the Dremel, again, remember this was, the valve was off for this, the valve stem is out, you will create a nice curve. And by doing that, the air will flow up. So that's important. And you can open it up a little more. Remember, this is a 3/16 inch. It's very loose. So I probably have it opened up a little bit more than 3/16. And again, not a science. This is sort of trial and error. I took 3 times to get this gun tuned to this kind of power, okay? So that is a very important step. So right now we've just done the barrel port. Let me show you here. Hopefully you can see it. There you go. So we've just done the barrel port to 3/16. Now the barrel port doesn't have to be curved. That can be straight. That's okay. The valve port to 3/16 a little more and curved, right? So the flow is sort of curved like this. All right. You don't want it to have to go out and then straight up. You don't want it on a 90 degree. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to remove the power adjuster here. So there's a power adjuster. There is a grub screw at the top. Okay, it is I think this is like a 1.5 millimeter or 1 millimeter. I can't tell exactly, but you'll find the Allen key that works. Back it out. This out of the way. Gonna back it out all the way. All right, there is the grub screw right there. Okay, that was there. Put that down. Now watch what happens when you turn it over. There is a spring. There's a spring and a pin. All right, don't lose those. Again, know where all your pieces are. The transfer port can be pushed out from this side here. There's a knob here. I mean, you could try and pull it. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, hold on. There we go. But I feel more comfortable pushing it. Here it comes. Whew. Okay, there is the transfer port. Let's see if you can see that. All right, see the transfer port has 2 O-rings. I'm going to pull it out all the way. Now I have drilled this out. Whoops, I've drilled this out quite a bit. As you can see, the 3/16 fits right inside. Look at that. So, and it's a little loose. So you saw that? The 3/16 inch bit will fall right through. Very, very tight. 2 O-rings and that metal pin that goes into this D10 here, and that creates pressure. Now, if you notice, there's very little meat left on this, and that's why I think I've reached the maximum with this power adjuster. Now, in the port, in the breech, right? The port goes through perpendicular to the, so you have the port here, the transfer port here, and then you have a power adjuster that dissects it. Now watch what happens. 3/16. I'm going to drop this in, and if you can see in there, let's see, maybe you can see in there. See how the screw goes all the way through? Look at this. So the screw goes all the way through. So all I did to get this gun to shoot at a higher velocity was use your, now I did it in stages. You don't want to do this all at once. I first used a 332, then an 1164, and then finally a 3/16. Okay, so you do that in 3 stages. Don't do it all at once. Everything you do gradually. Okay, now I did that with the power, again, the power adjuster in place. Okay, I did not do that with the power adjuster out. And the reason is you want to have it smooth, as I've explained in a past video. Any turbulence in the transfer port is going to slow down the velocity. So it really needs to be smooth. So if I take that 3/16 inch bit and pass it down with the transfer port in place, let's see. There we go. So with the transfer port in place, there it is. It goes right through. So I can't pull out the transfer port here on the side because the drill bit is holding it in place. So I know I've got a smooth bore all the way through that transfer port, right down in, and this is where the valve goes, by the way. Right in here is where the valve goes. Let's see. Hopefully you can see that. So there's the drill bit. I can see it. Drill bit is right there. So again, that is all there is to tuning this gun. The barrel port, again, barrel port to 3/16 of an inch. the power adjuster, and the transfer port in here. And by the way, the transfer port is not a separate item. It's all part of the block. So you're drilling through the aluminum, and aluminum is very easy to drill through. Here we go, 3/16 inch through here. And then lastly, but most important, this is where you get your efficiency, is the valve port right here. And you want to remember to angle that valve port like that. You don't want to drill it straight. Here, whoops. You don't want to drill it straight. You want to have it on an angle, okay? By having it on this angle, here we go. By having it on this angle, you are allowing the air to scoop upwards like this. Instead of going straight and then up, it's scooping. And that's the trick to this. And pretty much that is it. I mean, as far as tuning this gun, opening the ports, there's 3 ports. There is the valve port, transfer port and power supply, power adjuster, and then the barrel port. That's it. That's simple. I hope that works for you. By the way, we're at 200 bar fill. There, I'll let you see that. We are, let's see. All right, so we are at a 200 bar fill. And yeah, even a little bit less, but that's okay. I do have the power adjuster opened up all the way, so this is max power. 905. Error. Uh-oh, okay. $9.17. $9.20, $9.30. $9.27. $9.26. $9.27. $9.30. $9.31. That's 10. $9.33. $9.36. $9.36. $9.37. $9.40. $9.37. $9.41. $9.44. $9.43. $9.42. All right, I'm just going to reload. The third magazine, 943, 945, 947, 942, 944, 947, 946, 946, 944, 948. Okay. This is the fourth magazine. 951. 940. 936. 934. 934, 931, 931, 935, 933, 929. Okay, that's 4 magazines. I'm going to load up one more. Okay, this is the 5th magazine. 936, 930, 925, 928, 923, 916, 917, 918, 911, and 907. All right, so that's 50 shots. I'm not sure. I think it was like maybe like a 45 extreme spread, something like that. So it is a higher extreme spread. It's a lot more power. I believe I got up to 950. So there is going to be a little bit more of a power curve, but I think it's okay. I mean, if you can start at a lower fill, get about 40, 45 shots, probably around a 35 spread or a 30 spread, something like that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is shoot the heavies, the 33.95 JSBs, and let's see what those do. I have one loaded. 819. We're going to shoot 5 of these just so you can see what the speeds are like. 823. 824. 828. And 821. So that's 5 of the, where are they? That's 5 of these. Let's see. So next up, I have the 30.86 H&M Barracudas. I have them already loaded, 5 of them. 853. 852. 853, 852, wow, pretty stable, and 852. So the H&M Barracudas are quite stable.